Okay. So, Cloudburst, um, how did you get into Project M?
Okay, small story. Basically, I was just casually following the development of Smash 4 because I was very casual at the time. I found out that Little Mac was going to be part of the roster for Smash 4. I was like, cool. And then I remember that there was actually a Smash Bros. Subreddit, so I went there, and then I found the documentary on the history of Melee, and Prog mentions people modifying Brawl towards the end of that, and that led me to Project M and installing it and stuff.
Okay. So once you picked that, how long did it take you to find Squirtle? Why did you pick Squirtle?
It took me about half a year. I installed it like late December, like maybe like the after the 15th of December of 2014 probably, and I just played with my friends and like buddies in my dorm room. And the summer of 2014, I studied abroad in Paris, and I was doing this super boring homework assignment, and I was like, screw this is dumb, I wasted my time. And so by this point, I had found the Project M subreddit. And so I went to the news section, which I never do. I never do that, basically. And there was a post made by a friend of mine, Steakhouse, and it said, like, French PM players of Reddit, there's going to be a tournament tomorrow in Paris, and, like, here's the address and stuff. And I was like, holy crap, I'm in Paris. And so I took public transportation about an hour outside the center of Paris to an engineering college, and I met a bunch of French Smash players like Steakhouse, Trek. I'm going to forget some. Steakhouse, Trek, Chen, Charby, really good Marth player. Yeah, and others that I'm not going to be able to remember. But at the time, I was playing them, and I was really bad, of course, because I had like never been to a tournament, and they were all just stomping me. I thought that I was equally good with like Captain Falcon, Marth, Falco, Ike, and Squirtle. But I did the best against the French players with Squirtle because they had never played one before. So they had no matchup experience against Squirtle, so that's why I did the best. And then I thought I was the best with Squirtle, so I kept working on him, and that's how I ended up maining him.
So when you came back to Arizona, who did you play with that you think got you to where you are? Or how did you come up, so to say?
How I came up.
How'd you on the come up, yeah.
So shout-outs to Bernsey. In like August of 2014, he showed me how to hydroplane down smash with the C-stick method, which I had never been able to do. And that was really the only time I saw him. But I would attribute the vast majority of my success to Oaksauce, John Oaksasoglu. He's a Wolf player who unfortunately doesn't make it out very much anymore. Basically from like October of 2014 till like May of 2015, I couldn't go to tournaments because I had conflicts with my a cappella group rehearsal. But I didn't have class Tuesdays or Thursdays, so I would host Smash Fests twice a week in my dorm because I was a resident assistant, so I had access to like lofty spaces. And so Oaksauce would come out and he like power leveled me, I guess you could say.
How did you just know there was an AZ scene when you came back from France, or?
On the sidebar of the r/Smash Bros, there's like a link to all the Facebook pages in their community, so that's how I found the Arizona one.
What was the moment, even though we both know this, what was the moment when you realized that you could be good?
So I guess there'd be like two moments. The first one was when I was just like looking at all of Squirtle's tools, and I knew that the character like could get there. He could be really good. The problem was I wasn't good enough yet. And then obviously like the big moment would be like grand finals of 5 p.m. Fight Nights 2 when I beat Forte Freak, and yeah, he got a little angry. The infamous table slam. So yeah.
How do you carry that momentum, and what has your biggest setback been to that momentum after beating Forte Freak there?
Oh, man. So Forte Freak actually told me like a day later that night after he went home was the first night in a long time that he had actually practiced Project M. So up until that point, he was just kind of like relying on his, superior fundamentals to most of the players in the Tucson scene who, were all relatively new. He was using just that superior level of experience to beat us. So definitely now that he like tries, see, Forte Freak will say that he doesn't care about Project M, but he totally does. He just doesn't want any. He doesn't want to admit it. Setbacks to momentum would be like when people figure out the Squirtle matchup. That's like when I actually get to like delve into it and learn it, because it's almost a free win, like in the first set. Like lack of matchup knowledge against Squirtle like can get you pretty far. And so once they actually like, once your opponent figures it out, that's when like sort of like the two characters can start like debating back and forth.
Why do you keep playing
Smash, just in general?
Or Project M, yeah.
I mean, it's really fun. I want to push Squirtle. Like, you know, I'm not at the top level yet. Maybe I never will be, but I want to push Squirtle as the farthest he can be. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I like still haven't implemented yet that, you know, once I do, it'll just like, you know, sky's the limit.
So you started in France. How was the French scene and the American scene, or the Arizona scene, I guess, specifically different? Not just in like how good were they, but the feel.
So since I was in Paris over the summer, comparing like the summertime scenes, they're actually pretty similar as far as like Smash Fests just getting put together. And it's actually a lot easier in France because the public transportation is way better than it is in Arizona. So, you know, just like lack of transportation is never an issue over there. As far as players go, yeah, I can't compare because, like, you know, my perspective has been skewed from being, you know, relatively bad and when I was in France, and, you know, now I'm like okay at the game. So.
So how do you feel when people complain about your character?
I understand that he's frustrating to play against. A lot of people don't like him because they don't know what he does. So I try to do my best to just explain what he does and move from there. And if they like, it's not my responsibility to make you okay with my character. Because like if we're playing, like I'm going to do everything I can to beat you. And if that includes like tripping you because you hate tripping and it was in Brawl and you're like a hardcore melee elitist and like that's the best game. And it's like, all right, stay mad. So.
How do you think you stand compared to the other players in Arizona right now?
Like all of them, or like big names?
All of them. Everyone who comes over.
Okay. So I haven't played Neon like ever, pretty much. I played him once, and it was like before I broke out, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Okay, so like current PR members, I've only really played Sanchez, Jesus, and Forte.
Just people who come out, people who you play. I mean, people who you play.
That I play? Okay.
Yeah.
So just Tucson locals then? Okay. Sanchez is always really fun to play because he's really smart and aggressive. You know, and at the same time, he's very intelligent about the way he aggresses and he controls the stage really well. Also, he plays a fast faller, so I can get like good combos on him. Like, you don't beat Sanchez by accident, because even when he's screwing around, he's probably still better than you. Forte Freak has definitely had the upper hand of me recently. I don't really mind like the character switching so much. I just need to like play the neutral game better, and I think like the tables will turn in my favor. Casino Wolf, Mewtwo's super frustrating to play against. That tail gives me a lot of trouble. But, you know, it's not like I fault Ray J for playing his best character against me, to tie it back to people being frustrated against you for playing your character. I just have to, I think to start beating Casino Wolf more regularly, I need to be able to predict his teleports better than I have been in the past. And then for players I normally beat, Cutmet plays Wario. I think it's an even matchup overall. For new Squirtle players, I feel like playing a Wario will just beat the withdraw spam out of them. So that's actually probably a good thing to practice against if you're trying to like stop that bad habit.
How do you think overall Squirtle does as far as matchups go? Like, what do you think his hard ones are, his good ones are?
Squirtle uh, has the most difficulty against characters with superior disjoint, played by players with superior patience. But as far as overall matchups read, there isn't a matchup where I'm just in total despair the entire time. Like I really don't think, and there's a bunch of different scales like +2, -1, whatever. I feel like his worst matchups are like 60-40 in the other person's favor, I guess.
How? What advice would you give? How specifically? You said you hosted Smash Fest and such. How did you get good? Like, what were you doing? What would
Oh
you tell
man.
other people to do if they want to get good
All right.
with
So
Squirtle or otherwise?
so I guess just in general, getting better. It's easier to get better when you play players that are better than you. It's almost like an RPG. If you're like low level and you beat, or if you like get carried through, a region that's like with higher level monsters because you're getting carried by a higher level player. It's almost like that. Your experience, like the whole power level metaphor. Like stronger players are better at identifying your bad habits and, oftentimes have the experience to let you know what to do instead. So that's certainly part of it. And how I got better in particular, I would just, I guess, think about the game. It's super abstract, but I was playing with Jube a lot, and he would play Fox and just destroy me. And I was like, how do I kill Fox? And how at the time, PM Salty Highlights were still a thing by Bidoof, and he would footstool a lot to be flashy. And I was like, okay, let's start messing around with that. And so that's how I got addicted, I guess.
And that led to your reputation on Reddit. How do you feel about
Yeah.
that, being known as the footstool guy?
I don't mind. I think like footstools are like silly, but they're also like really effective in a lot of situations. So that's fun.
I guess going from that, or I guess to veer away from that, how do you think TOing, because you TO these weeklies, you've been doing that for how long?
At least a month, maybe like 2. Like it
Like
started
2.
like after Paragon,
Yeah.
so like 2 months.
How did that change things? How did that change your perspective? How did that change your play?
I'm just better at estimating like how long things will take, but that just like comes with the job. As far as like my performance within a tournament, it hasn't affected it really. The most significance that TOing has is that I can't like think ahead to my next set and like get into the mindset of playing against that person's character or whatever, because I have to focus on getting the tournament done by 10, which is when our venue Amazing Discoveries closes. So nothing too bad. It's just a slight distraction, but somebody has to do it. So yeah.
What would you? What are your short-term goals and long-term goals in the game?
In the game. All right. Short-term goal would be to beat Sanchez, Forte Freak, and Casino Wolf all in the same tournament, because we're fairly well established as the top 4. And on any given day, I can beat Casino Wolf or Forte Freak or Sanchez. Sometimes I don't beat either of them, but I've never been able to beat more than 2 in any given tournament. So it'd be nice to like face all 3 and beat all 3 in the same tournament. So that's one short-term goal. The other short-term goal would be do well at Rewired, represent Arizona well, November 14th and 15th, streamed by our very own AZPM.
I think Rewired will have happened when this goes up.
Oh, will it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully I did well at Rewired. At least got a footstool on
Not to
stream.
date this, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. Did I ask you why Squirtle? Just because he did good? Was that really it? You just
like-
picked Squirtle because he?
That was part of it, and another part of it was that, like, there wasn't a standout character. He was very unexplored. So it was sort of like an ability to forge my own way in the character, and it's like, okay, let's find my best way to play this character, because if I had decided to main a melee character, I wouldn't have had to do any real thinking. It's just like memorization of the best things to do, because they're already very well
So
established.
part of why you play this game is the exploration of all the characters. Is that why you like Project M?
Yeah, yeah, definitely that. Like, it's a lot more exciting to me because of all the matchup variants. Because every character is, viable enough. It's also sort of like a way to express myself a little bit, I guess. Squirtle's a silly character, and like, I take this game seriously, but you know, I I'm not like a diehard, try hard person who like pops off at every victory and he's just like, I gotta win. I'm like, I want to win, but I don't know. I want to be cool about it. Like, I hate camping. I'll do it if I have to because I do. At the end of the day, I want to win more than I want to look cool. But if there's the slightest possibility of me winning and being cool, I'll pursue that.
Anything else you'd want to say? Any other? Or you don't know. You said you're all happy, so there's no one really you have beef with. You don't feel like there's any real.
Not in
Not
Arizona.
really. Okay. Oh,
Okay. I feel like a lot of other players have a lot more bark than bite.
no. Say his
Say
name.
it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I mean, unless you really don't want to. I'm not one to pressure you, but
Dirt Boy's low key like an arrogant douchebag. Like I don't know. Like I don't really care,
okay.
but I don't know. He,
I won't try and pull it out
he's
of
really
you.
loud on the internet. I'll say that. I think he keeps a notepad of all the people he's beaten so he can like whip it out. Honestly, the whole like Squirtle squad like circle jerk reminds me of the plastics from Mean Girls. That's what it is. Like they're always like, "Oh my god, on Wednesday like Arizona doesn't DI." And then they just like run with that and spread it to Reddit and it's a hot
Are
mess.
you Lindsay Lohan in this
I
analogy?
guess pre-cocaine Lindsay Lohan,
Pre-
mind you. But yeah, I don't know.
I remember you telling me that you wanted to be your purpose at Paragon at least was to like show Dirt Boy,
Yeah,
right?
that was the plan, but I got double eliminated by SoCal. And at the time, like, nobody knew Yador was good.
That's
Because SoCal's so strong, but they're really quiet about it. They're
yeah.
like, yeah, we're good. And, like, so I think Yador is personally the best Squirtle right now.
I,
Yeah.
I agree with that absolutely.
Because, like, maybe, like, in terms of really specific Squirtle tech, like, maybe he's not the best. Other people might have it down better, but just he's the best player that plays Squirtle. If that there's a slight connotational difference, but yeah, because he has success in SoCal, which is a very strong region, and other Squirtles don't really. So yeah,
Um. So what would your order be?
my order would be, um, I'd go Yador, Dirt Boy, and then I think me and Dad are similar in terms of skill. People put him above me. I'm not sure why. He beat IPK at DFW Weekly, and that was it. So yeah, I haven't had as much opportunity to like play top level players. I guess that's what I would say. So I'm really looking forward to Rewired and hopefully just being. Let's move this. CRT difficulties. I'm really looking forward to Rewired just to play as many people from SoCal as I can to see how I stack up right now, and then like adjust how I need to approach things looking forward.
So any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to say?
I don't know why other Squirtles hate me. I don't really care. It's just sort of unfortunate. I'm used to it. Like I got teased in elementary school for being nerdy, so that's honestly what it reminds me of. Like they're just talking amongst themselves, and I'm like, okay. So, the closing thoughts. I don't know. Thanks, everybody who likes watching me play. I hope you continue to do so. support AZPM because Z-Man here is the only reason I'm able to make Jiffy Cats and put them on the internet in the first place. So, yeah.
That's all you got. Good.
Yeah,
Positive
that's me,
little guy.
I guess.
All right,
Yeah.
man. All right, let's get this started.
All right, cool. Bye, everybody.